Hey Awakening, my name is Liv, and today I'm going to kind of talk about one of the ways that I felt more connected to our earth and more connected to the people around me, and that is through food. So even though we can't really congregate in closed areas right now due to COVID-19, I think it's important to recognize, especially for the most social people, that the outdoors has kind of served as this social oasis, or even an oasis for ourselves to just gain solitude in these areas, especially when we're at our homes and we're not used to living with our families maybe, or maybe we are, and then we're trying to develop our identities, and high school and going into college are just times of a lot of transition. And so we're all kind of in that together, but also separate, living our different experiences. And so in this specific instance, my experience is that I'm living on an organic farm in a town called Lincoln, Oregon. And it's a mountain town about 4,000 feet up from sea level. And it's been a really cool experience because I've learned about kind of this buzzword, and that word is anthropomorphism. And the idea behind anthropomorphism is that, all organisms, plants, animals, humans, everything that's alive, right, deserves this chance to be alive and flourish, right? Because God put it there. It's created by God. And so the trees have human characteristics, like they love connection and they need to be fed, and so they should be treated as such. And so that's this anthropomorphistic idea, basically. So an example of that, just kind of cool, and I'll try to talk over the wind, sorry, is the aspen tree. So this is an aspen tree right here. It's got this beautiful white bark and these beautiful green leaves, and I'd say it's about 40 feet tall. Okay, so they're fairly large trees and they grow to be taller. This one's still kind of a baby. But because of anthropomorphistic, ideals that are practiced on this organic farm, as a little sapling, it was allowed to grow. And so as it continued to grow, one really cool thing about aspen trees that I didn't know until I was here is that they all function off of the same root system. So they're one single organism that's all connected by one root system. So when other saplings would pop up, it meant that the roots had traveled to that place, and then they had all sprung up these new trees. So if you look at, this is an aspen tree right here, and then all the way over here, these are also aspen trees. And if you look way, way over there, there's aspen trees on the other side of the road too. And they all come from the same organism. So this idea of allowing things to flourish, and then they kind of can create this community on their own based on their specific needs, is kind of a cool thing. Use it as a metaphor if you want. I just kind of wanted to share it. So anyway, the more specific food-related thing that I've been learning is I've been working in the organic garden, right? Planting and harvesting, and so I kind of wanted to show you all that goes into it. I'm kind of running away from the lawnmower right now, sorry. But if we go into our greenhouse, maybe, here we go. There's all of these individual beds, right? And they're created by hand. And so these plant beds, they're raised plant beds. We're talking about the soil right now. They're made of Oregon Rocky Mountain soil, just the topsoil, and then they have a layer of horse manure on it. And I have touched more horse manure in the last few weeks than I ever thought I needed to. But anyway, the idea is that these beds are created by hand, right? We mold them and we flatten them to make sure that they're exactly the way that so that the plants can flourish in them. And so then we take individual seeds, right? And we plant them in these very specific squares. So I'm going to show you how specific, right? Like, look at that. That is like each individual one of these little tiny squares has one single seed in it. And so the single organism has its own soil, its own place to grow. And then we water them, right? We let them set, and eventually we harvest. So oftentimes when we harvest the plants, we take small pieces of them so that later they can continue their growing, and then we can take more and more and more and, really use all that the plant has to offer. And so we're not killing the full plant by harvesting, we're just taking little tiny pieces so that it continues to be alive, anthropomorphism again. So what I thought was really interesting is that I've been growing the same food that I've been eating and then eventually composting, once the peels and if the greens go bad and all this stuff. So what food has really taught me is like how much our earth and plants do for us each day. And like any sustainable relationship, we have to put into our earth what we get out of it. And so my recent relationship to the life cycle of food has helped me better understand my own relationship to God. I like to view God as the gardener, right? So my favorite part about this kind of metaphor is that God even uses our compost, right? He even uses our waste, the bad parts about us, or maybe bad things that have happened to us, or things that we've labeled as bad, right? And he uses them later to help us flourish, right? So this plant waste, the stuff that we usually put in the trash, if we put it back into the plant beds, then it nutrifies the soil and helps the plants grow more. And so this kind of idea of God, hand molding us and making us ready for any instant, helping us prepare, has kind of challenged me to think about one thought, and that's what I'm going to leave you guys with today. And it's just this idea of, what is the fruit that you bear? What is God planting in you? What is it that he's giving you right now that's helping you kind of start to prosper and start to grow your new leaves and bear new fruit? And like, what is it that God is giving to you to grow? How is he watering you? How is he offering you sunshine? And then I've been challenging myself, and I challenge you guys as well, to think about, when God comes to harvest, when he says, okay, I've taken care of my plant and now I expect this from them, are we ready to really give what God requests of us? And so I'll just leave you with that thought. I really hope that during this time you all are taking care of yourselves and your loved ones as much as you possibly can. And I'm praying for the health of your families. And yeah, hopefully we get to meet non-virtually very soon. But until then, God bless, and yeah, goodbye.